Let's see if I can just turn a little bit. You can hear me? And see me. I still got to get rid of my ad. TPG taking a nap. What's up, Roy Phipps? Someway, Clint Cole, Matt HMM. I think Jeff Bowery said he was dropping in and out. Fag Properties. I don't know if I saw anybody else or not. Let's see. I think that might have been it. That was in the pregame, anyways. What's up, DJ Toro, Denny O'Fools, Terry Burton? Got that new Ryobi black drill today. I haven't even seen a Ryobi black drill. I didn't know they were coming out with black drills. Scoot this way. Look. What's up, Scott Hedge? Jeff sees the cap. Got on my Texas tool cap from Jeff Bowery. Probably won't be a Blockbuster Live like the one with Steve. Yeah, I started to make a post before I came home today and just post if anybody out there wanted to be in a live to get with me. Special edition on their 30th anniversary. So did you pick it up at was it at Home Depot that the black one's at? Or did you have to like order it off some special site or something? What's up, Woodchuck? Ryobi HP drill in a special edition black. Home Depot. I wouldn't mind I don't mind Ryobi tools. I'm the same way with Ryobi as I am DeWalt. It's like the green is too bright for me and the yellow's a little. I don't mind I don't just buy based on color or anything, but like I prefer just colors that aren't shoving in your face. So I wouldn't mind it if the Milwaukee ones were black. Like I'd be fine with that too. What's up, Sizzle Nick? Clint said I've only seen him on eBay. Did a review on my channel. I have to go check that out. Yeah, I haven't even seen one. I didn't even know it was a thing. I don't think I've been in Home Depot this. Yeah, well, maybe I might have went one day. I had to go pick up a pancake box. I can't remember if that was this week or the end of last week. I went to Lowe's today, but I don't think I've been to Home Depot. More Rit dye. The Mule workstation the last time that you went to HD. Yeah, I know I had to go buy a pancake box because I had some here. I had a light that I was putting in a bathroom that we were building, and it hit right on a joist, and they just wanted a cheap like fixture, and I went to go get a pancake box because I was running MC cable, and all my pancake boxes here, the only knockout was dead center in the middle of it, and the rest of them are all more for like the NM cable, so I had to go buy one. I don't normally ever. That's the first time I've used a pancake box, and I don't know how long. I don't usually run them that much. Elliot pre-ordered the new Milwaukee vacuum due in tomorrow. Waiting on the new ratchet from Tech's Choice. Scott likes the DeWalt batteries. He thinks they're better and cheaper. I haven't tried any of I haven't ran any DeWalt since like the Power Stack and all that kind of stuff came out. I used to have some 20-volt DeWalt stuff at the place I worked at. That's kind of the tools they bought to use, and I bought my own stuff, and I was running Bosch, and then I ran Milwaukee, but I was able to use DeWalt 20-volt stuff there. Like every now and then I'd grab those tools if I was going to go do something that I didn't want to get my tools horribly dirty. Uh, I'd use those, but I didn't really have a lot of problems with them or anything. But they also didn't buy like if you bought the drill and the impact, it was that cheaper of the two of all the sets. You know how DeWalt's got multiple versions of different stuff. Foam sheet looks like a piece of drywall. Yeah, I ended up. I think I might have showed that on the last live. I poked a hole through there because every time I was opening this door, it would blow that back with the like pressure coming in here. So I tied a rope through it and got it tied to the toolbox here to keep it pushed up against the wall. I hadn't decided yet what I'm gonna do there because originally I've already got wood up there where like I could put like a sliding door on the inside in there and just have it slide over that way and get out of my way. But then, because I'm probably gonna leave it open 90% of the time once I actually get that finished. But it'd be more so just for looks. Like if I didn't want to have a big void back here for filming something or doing whatever. I hadn't decided if I'm gonna do that. Like I could put like basically like a barn door, there and have it slide from the inside. Or if I want to make it open out this way, but then the only reason why I don't want to do that is because I'm going to probably leave it open all the time. Because then if I left it this way, I was going to kind of make it like a screwdriver door or something or other and put a bunch of holes in it where I could just put the screwdrivers down in there and have the handles showing. And then it wouldn't matter if it opened. I can't do that with the barn door because obviously the screwdrivers are going to hit the jamb and all that kind of stuff. So I'd like to do the screwdriver door, but I also don't want to leave it open, 90% of the time and it be in my way from getting to my stuff all the time. So I'm probably going to end up doing the barn door and not the screwdriver thing. Can you do a pocket or accordion door? I could do a pocket right there if I really, really wanted to, but it would make me I'd have to take apart a lot of stuff to make that happen. And where that's at, like I'm going to have my other door going into my garage right there, swinging back where that pocket door's going to be sliding. So it's not really a spot where I can put like shelving or anything anyways. So it's not going to hurt my feelings that door slides, right there. It's not going to cause me to lose anything with that door being on the other side of the wall, pushed that way. Now, I wouldn't want to go this way with it. What's up, Tom? The Power Stack 1.7s have gusto. Yeah, I've not used a Power Stack DeWalt battery. I've not used a Forge M18 battery yet. And I don't know anybody that's I haven't seen anybody on a job site even have them in my area either. Which most people on job sites these days in my area are typically running Milwaukee. It used to be 100%, like everywhere you went was DeWalt everywhere. It's all I saw. And maybe it's because whenever I'm going places to do work, a lot of times where it's not just me and there's other subs and stuff, it's usually for carpentry and framing and all that kind of stuff. And usually I'm there with electricians and plumbers and all that. And typically that's who has the DeWalt stuff in my area, or like framers and carpentry people and stuff like that. Or that's the way it used to be. Pump up the jam. What about a sticker door? Yeah, if I do a barn door, I think that might be what I end up doing, is just on this side. Originally, I was going to put that same fence picket stuff on there and kind of make it look like it blended in, but I think I'm just going to put something on there that's, easy for stickers to stick to, and a background where you'd be able to see stuff really easy. So I might do that. I can keep 2 Power Stacks 1.7s in my little bag for the DeWalt Impacts. It's a toiletry bag, super compact. Tom's been working on the wood lathe that was my late brother's. The dead center on the tailstock is rusted together. The whole machine is in bad shape. I'm trying to restore it to working condition. Yeah, that's the hardest thing on older stuff, is like one is then like you've got to usually make it work with whatever you've got there, because finding parts for some of that stuff's impossible, and even if you do, it's probably going to cost you quite a bit because somebody's been hanging on to it for a long time. But yeah, it's stuff that's like been sitting in a place where the humidity's not controlled and all that kind of stuff like that, where you got rust and all that kind of stuff. I'll leave that lid off. I keep taking it on and off. Clint Cole, the tool collector, sent me a gift from Lowe's today. He sent me a Weehaw 11-in-1 screwdriver, so I wanted to thank him for that, and we'll open it up and check it out. I don't have one of them. And this one is, where did I see it at? Oh, right there. Made in the USA with global components. It says it's manufactured in Monticello, Minnesota. Engineered in Black Forest, Germany. Didn't cut that open enough. It had something shaking in it, so something's loose down in there. I think one of the bits must be out. I could hear it rattling. Man, nothing's in there pretty good. Yeah. Yeah, the square 1 and 2 came out. So it's your typical 11-in-1 Phillips, 2 Phillipses. I always like it better personally for me, because I use Phillips 2 and like 1/4 inch slotted more than anything. I prefer my double-ended bit to be like the Phillips and slotteds together on one bit is my preference. Most of them don't do that, but that's my preference. That way I don't have to flip this as much, which I don't know. I guess maybe it's just as fast to do that as it is to do this. And then I guess that's no, that's not really the 3/8. So I guess it's 3/8, 1/4 inch, and 5/16. Squares and Torx, Phillips and slotted. I think this is only the. Oh no, I do have an insulated Weehaw screwdriver. So this is the third one, because Steve's Woodshop and Tool Review sent me a 1/4 inch nut driver Weehaw a long time ago. I don't have a lot of Weehaw tools, a lot of Weehaw screwdrivers. So appreciate that, Clint. What's up, Jeremy? Sometimes you can get the true made in the USA ones. So the way, I don't know how every company does it, but the way that Klein kind of told it to me whenever I was down there in Texas is, if they have that made in the USA with global components on theirs, it may very well be that the tool that you've got there is 100% made in the USA. But they said every now and then on certain tools, they have supplier issues in the US with whatever it is, and they've got to use like maybe that supplier is out of a certain steel or whatever it is, and they've got to get it from something else. And instead of like one package, like a group of packaging changing whenever they have to do that, they just put that on all of them, just because there's a chance that that tool might have something that's not made in the USA in it. So a lot of times if it says that, it may very well be 100% USA, and it may very well not. It's kind of just make the packaging easier, I guess. Some ways trying out my new Dickies wool socks. Blanket disclaimer. This live is sponsored by, no, not really. I'm drinking some of my tap water in my Casey's electrolyte water. Also purchased the Snap-on Nano Access screwdrivers. I haven't seen them either, but I usually only catch Snap-on stuff if Doc's got it on Last Best Tool. That's about the only place. Every now and then, like what's his name, Coon Trucking. Yeah, I watch his videos, but usually Snap-on comes up in my Doc stuff. TPG's been wearing wool socks. You got it, Rural King. They're decently padded and warm. I think I've got some. What was it? Some way said Dickies. Yeah, I think that's what I've got. I've only bought the darn tough ones. I bought one pair, and I like them. They are pretty nice. Uh, and then I bought some sort of Amazon merino wool ones, just because it was way cheaper, and they're not bad, but none of them keep my feet like warm. But that's just my feet. It's not I don't think it's a sock problem. I've yet to find a sock that keeps my feet like warm if I'm just out in the cold. Now they're fine, like if I'm just wearing them and I'm inside a lot and all that. But if I'm out in the cold for, hours, eventually my feet get cold no matter what socks I wear. Tom wore my alpaca socks this week. We got up to, I think it might have got up in the 30s today. I remember seeing 28 in my truck whenever I was driving at one point, like on my little thermometer in my truck. But I think it was supposed to get up in the 30s, but the sun came out. That was helping a lot on like all the roads and stuff. But basically, like all our main roads are fairly clear. All the parking lots are a disaster. All the turning lanes to get into parking lots are a disaster. Uh, and then like middle lanes, anything that's not a main, like cars are on it all the time. It's still pretty messed up. Like all the ice, I had 3 inches of ice. That's what I don't know if any of you watched the short with my skid steer, taking up the ice out here on my driveway, but I had about 3 inches of ice. So I was having to try real hard not to go too deep to mess up my blacktop, but get under the ice enough to be able to pop it up and then try to, make it break into pieces so I could scoot it. But we got pretty much we got a little bit of snow there, like that first few hours of Saturday or whatever that was, and then everything after that was 100% ice. The Smart Wool and REIs have more wool and thicker versions. Let's see. Australia doesn't make anything except drills, the best in the world. Jeremy says, darn tough, have a lifetime warranty, but I haven't had to use it yet. Yeah, I only bought the one pair. I saw that on, oh man, I'd already forgot his name. It was like a top 10 right around Christmas time, and it wasn't this year. I think it was last year. Oh man, I can't think of his name now. He cuts up firewood a lot. I can't think of it. Save my life. He had a whole video, like and that video was really good about how him and his wife, it was like their first year of marriage or something or other. And that was just kind of like a little sidebar thing, like just a video randomly. Then he did some tools and stuff, but he does a lot of firewood cutting and stuff. That's what he started doing for like almost like a business or something. Wrangle Star. No, it's not somebody like he's not big. I don't even know how many. Like I said, I could look at my subscriptions and I'd be able to find it, and I would know it right off the top of my head as soon as I saw it, but I can't think of it. Intimidator slid down the driveway, smacked his face on the truck mirror. Yeah, I finally got, because whenever I had my skid steer out, my truck was froze over, so I couldn't even move my truck to like get any of the ice. I couldn't get in my truck, like everything was just iced. And then my ladder rack I wanted to make sure and get all that ice off the top of my truck before I drove it, because I didn't want big pieces flying off and hitting other people's cars and stuff. And I needed my ladders for all the jobs I had this week. I needed to use my little giant, like bigger ladder twice. So I finally got out and got them down. They were like basically 2 ladders and an ice cube. Got them down, brought them in here since I've got heat now, and let them just thaw out on the floor and all the water run off. And then I finally got all the ice away from the edge of my truck because I couldn't get it with the skid steer at the time. I got it out today. 12 inches in Pennsylvania now, freezing, single digit tips or temps. Yeah, I think we might even are supposed to be getting some more this weekend. I haven't paid any attention to it to know how much or any of that kind of stuff, but we're supposed to get some more. You could drive slowly with the Bobcat to go to work. I was actually, because like it has, if it's got like a very small amount of tread, it's very little. Like all my tires, I need new tires. I keep watching Facebook Marketplace to see if I can catch a deal because the tires that I've got on there are like the foam filled, like solid tires. You can't get flats, but all the tread's basically gone on like at least 2 of them. One of them I got pretty decent, but to pay somebody to take all that off and then get new ones, and I'd probably want the same kind because I don't want to mess with, I got a lot of big thorns and stuff like that out in the field and all that kind of stuff. I don't want to mess with like air tires, even though it probably would ride better. But to do all that, like to have somebody actually put your new tires on, it's crazy. Like more than I probably even paid for the piece of equipment. So, but on Facebook Marketplace, you can usually find them for about $200 a piece if you like used ones that's got more tread on it than what I've got right now. And the little I use it, that'd be fine. Uh, but I got to find the right lug pattern and find them close enough to go get them. That kind of stuff. It's about 30 here, but it's also Celsius, not Fahrenheit. Now, parts of Tennessee got the ice storm pretty bad, like trees and all that kind of stuff going down and then taking out power lines and all that kind of stuff. I only lost power for like, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, probably like 4.5 hours or something like that. Jeremy slid through a red light. That's a good thing about my truck. I don't even have to hardly put it in 4-wheel drive because I got enough weight in the back with all my tools that I'm good. I did have to put it in 4-wheel drive just to get it out of the where it was parked around the ice. Had me solid to get out the first time. I had to put it in 4-wheel drive just to get out of it. Only wood cutting I watch is Triple L Rustic Designs. Man, I can't think of it. I can't think of it. I almost want to. I'm gonna see if I can get into my subscription things real fast. Cause it's gonna drive me crazy. Let's see, what would subscriptions? There we go. I actually haven't seen a video from him in a long time though, but he never did make them like super duper often. No, it's not that. Let's see. Upstate Maverick. Yeah, that's who it is. Upstate Maverick. I haven't seen a video from him in a long time, but he had a video that was like his top 10 gifts to give guys or something rather. It was around Christmas time, not last year, but the year before. And that's whenever he was talking about them. That's why I bought them because he lives somewhere up north, I think, and it's pretty cold there all the time. Whatever bits he has, hundreds. Yeah, Giddy Goat said, "What's your favorite brand of bits?" I just use whichever one's them easiest for me to grab a hold of, and I buy them on sale, whatever they are. Using them in impacts for the most part, I don't really care. Now, screwdriver, if I'm doing something by hand, but again, I usually just use whatever. Most of the time, I use dedicated screwdrivers 99% of the time. But, and then if I'm not, I'm using usually like an 11-in-1 type thing where you use whatever bits are in it, type of thing. But as far as in my impact, I've used DeWalt, I use Rayler, I use Milwaukee. Uh, I've got some Weehaw ones. My M12 pruner made quick work of my peach tree. It's awesome. Yeah, all of my Milwaukee, I haven't bought any M12 power tool like outdoor equipment tools. I started to buy the little chainsaw a long time ago because even I thought about, for one is that's the kind of like we got that little Saker one that Miss Maintenance likes using, but I mean I could see using that to like plunge cut into like floors and do demo and stuff like that with it. That might be a little bit easier for certain things than getting out than trying to use a circular saw and stuff like that and a sawzall. But I never did end up getting one. I wouldn't use it enough that it's worth me paying the price that it costs usually. 6 degrees currently, -1 by tomorrow morning. Safety Assassin said. And Matt said the M12 hatchet's kind of weak. All my Milwaukee power tools that are like my weed eater, I've got the pole saw, I've got chainsaw, blowers, all that stuff's pretty awesome in my opinion. In comparison, it's worth it. It does well enough for me that it's worth it to not have to mess with the, gas and oil and all that kind of stuff like that, and just throw one of my tool batteries in it. And I also, again, I don't do landscaping for a business. I go around and weed eat my yard and the spots that I can't hit with my zero turn in 15 minutes, and I get out my pole saw once in a blue moon. I get out my chainsaw once in a blue moon. It's not like I'm running them all the time. It's not worth it to me to have to mess with the gas anymore. I finally got one thing in the mail today that I'll probably make a video for. I haven't ordered a lot of stuff in the last long time. I mean, there haven't been a lot of new stuff come out really. I'm gonna try to make a video tomorrow, but it might be hard to make by myself, so I don't know, but I'm gonna attempt it, and then we'll see how that goes. I might need Miss Maintenance's help, but I'm gonna try it by myself while she's working tomorrow. Because I don't have we finished up, me and my buddy finished up a commercial restroom that we framed up and drywalled and did the electric in. And then I went to a customer and put on some tint, like frosted glass stuff on some doors and stuff like that. And then put up some key boxes. And then I went today and put up ladders and walkboard and had to do some 3 flat panel LEDs inside of a stairwell, and that worked out really well because I didn't want to mess with taking scaffolding and setting it up. And for one, the lights were spaced out pretty far, so I would have had to probably set up scaffolding twice. So I just took my big ladder at the bottom of the stairs and put it up against a wall, and then I used a smaller adjustable ladder on the other end of the stairs and put my walkboard in the rungs of it, and I was able to just go back and forth the whole time. So that worked out pretty nice. Getting ready to start a job possibly on changing out some exterior, like a big bank of exterior windows that are really big. And then I got to go bid a job. Let me get on the freeway and I'll be there to help you film. I see the new client impact socket sets and blow-mo cases are up for sale at Acme Tools. Yeah, the like the 3H drives and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, somebody Mark Murphy, I guess it was, posted a picture on the community of that. I saw it took me a minute to notice it was in a blow-mo case and not a Connect case, but I saw that one. Jeremy's got 20-volt DeWalt outdoor equipment and loves it. Always bid more money. You know it's going to be a crap show. Well, that's like today, those 3 lights. And this would be hard for me to explain. But, of course, I get up there. There's 3. They're all lay-in, like in drop ceiling. 3 T8 fluorescent 2x4 drop-in lights. And MC cable whips go into a box. Well, of course they use and I don't have one here to show you, and y'all probably know, but the snap-in connectors where you just, push it into the light and it locks it in. Pet peeve of mine, it's like, do not use those on things where you're gonna have to take them out, because it's a pain sometimes, especially like I set up those watt boards where I couldn't really get up in the ceiling. I was planning on just, taking the lights out, wiring up a new light and sticking it back up in there. But for one, they had those on there, and that was a big pain. I'm always like, you need to use, these kind, the saddle type, without the snap in on the light fixture. Again, I don't care what you do on the other ends of things, but something you're going to change out, don't put those in there. Well, then the whips also were like exactly like whoever installed them, 0 extra. Like it's from the box going in the side of the light, tight as can be. And it's like that wasn't going to reach where the box was on the LED light. So I had to take out every bit of the wiring back to the box, run new MC cable to there, which ended up being good because it had them snap connectors. It just made it to where I just cut stuff. Well, then none of it was grounded. It's all conduit metal boxes, but nobody put any kind of a ground like wire in the box so you could tie the MC cable into the ground. Well, then 2 of them were on the power, and the neutral were on 2 lights, and then the other light didn't have a neutral, so they ran an MC cable over to another circuit and tied into the neutral of another circuit just to get a neutral into that light so that it would come on. So then, and it took 2 minutes to fix it. It's like all I had to do is go get a neutral wire and run it in the conduit over to another box. But some of the stuff amazes me, what you run into. Because everything that I did to fix it, to make it how it's supposed to be, it literally took me 5 more minutes. Like, that's all it took, 5 more minutes. Does the guy that printed your mini totes have a place that he sells? No, he said he doesn't. He said he actually said he just started doing 3D printing. So, but he said right now he's just doing it for himself. Somebody makes a cordless circular saw that cuts flooring flush to the base plates. If I could just remember who. That's a Crane or something like that. It's a flooring company. It's called jam saw. Tim only uses 20-volt yard equipment and have no issues. Does he have a file to sell on a 3D printer? I can email him and ask him. And it's 5 Go Shadow. I haven't seen him in here. If you see his username, it's 5 Go Shadow. I don't know if he's got numbers. Let me look in this card real fast. I think that's all it says. I don't think he's got numbers or anything after it. Yeah, the little ones are pretty cool. Sometimes the little ones need a little persuasion to snap in on some of them, but they do snap. You just got to kind of press in a little bit, like on the sides. So yeah, ultimately, I don't think we got, but I had basically 3 inches of ice with whatever snow we got. So I'm gonna say we got 3 inches uh, when we were supposed to get like 20. So I don't know how everybody else is, what they told you was going to get versus what you ended up getting, how that panned out for anybody. If somebody got more or less, about the same as what they told you. We'll see you, Jeremy. But we got nowhere close to what they said, which I'm fine with. I would have liked to not had the ice that we got out there. I would have rather got 10 inches of snow than the ice that we ended up getting. Fag was doing a remodel. Someone cut holes in the ductwork and ran their 12-2 throughout the house. Big jagged holes, no wire nuts, no junction box. And who does this? I'm baffled by some of the stuff I find. And like I said, it's not the handy andies. You know how all the certain tradespeople like to sit there and blame everything on handyman. It's like, no, I'm working in spaces where this is like a electrician crew and whatever else that did this. This wasn't some random person that came in here and did this. Just cold in Alabama. Yeah, I've been bringing so when it's the winter time, like I'll keep like a drill in my surge or something out in my truck, and then I keep the stuff that's in my tool bags that are batteries. But like I always just bring a whole thing in here that's like this with a bunch of batteries and stuff in it. And now I can pretty much leave them out here. Used to, I would have to take this in the house, every day. So like anything I've got that's battery powered that I keep in my truck regularly, I just keep in a bag like this. And I usually don't take as many batteries with me. Like I only have like a couple, enough to make sure I got enough for a day. And I still have a charger, in my truck too. But anything I got that's got batteries in it. And like I said, that's another nice thing about it being a little warmer out here now is I used to have to just pack this in the house all the time. Although Monday I went and got my truck. I think it was Monday, and drove to town. I was like, oh man, I forgot to grab my battery bag, which luckily I just needed hand tools that day. I was just running some electric. But that's why I go ahead and keep I've got one battery that's in my surge. I started leaving it in my truck. So that way, in case worst case scenario, I don't remember that, I'll have one 5 amp hour battery in my M12 surge that I can also get out and put in a circular saw or whatever else if I have to. Did I review the Klein Tool Runner by chance? Bubba 7131. No, I never did. I didn't pick that up. I haven't had any Klein tool bags like of that kind. It's hard for me to go away from the Vito. I probably should, but I don't mess with bringing batteries in. I don't if it's only going to be like, just cold. I don't, if it's 30s and stuff like that. I mostly, especially like on weekends where I know I'm not going to go get like every day when I run my truck, the heater's on, it warms up the whole cab, which is where all that stuff is. But like I knew I wasn't going to be getting out for multiple days and it was going to be like negatives and all that kind of stuff. I go ahead and get them out at that point. But if it's only going to get like in the 30s and stuff like that, I just leave. I I still don't pack as many batteries in the wintertime. I just put, like, usually I'll have more than enough during most of the time, but whenever it's going to be cold, I just make sure I just have a few. And then, like I said, I've got a charger. So if worst case scenario, I get into some heavier job, I'll just use one and then plug it up while I'm using the next one. And by the time I run out of that one, I've already got that one charged back up. He has never seen it in his Lowe's. They don't carry it. Yeah. Mine's had every other Klein bag in my Lowe's besides that tool runner. Like, they've got the rest. Of matter of fact, I was in there looking at them today because I went in there to get some footage of like some of the older mod box stuff because I got some of the 2.0 stuff, and I mostly run pack out, so I didn't have any of the older stuff. So I went in there to look and see how some of the organizers and stuff looked on the inside so I could see if there was a difference. The Klein bag doesn't have import fees. That's true. Yeah, to me, it's like it's one thing to pay it and do whatever. It's like if I owe it, I owe it, whatever. But to come at you 3 months after the fact and be like you owe 50 something dollars, it's like, there should be a way that whenever you order something, it should be like you're probably going to have a fee of this much so that you know that, like, up front somehow, some way. I don't know how you do it or whatever, but like, I don't even know how they come up with the amount of money that they charge you for it. It's like it could be whatever, if they have the right to just charge you whatever it is, it's like it could be something crazy. Like, you should have a way that like, this is how much it's going to be, and if you want to still order it, order it. Any luck doing warranty claim on an old Craftsman? I haven't returned any Craftsman stuff since way back in the Sears days, so. Crit Creations, are you a licensed electrician? No, I'm just a general contractor. I do a lot of electrical work, but now it's more so maintenance, like electrical work where somebody's already got something basically. Whereas where I worked at before, I wasn't my own business. I worked for somebody, so I could do anything. Basically, if they asked me to do it, I just did it. So I did a lot more different type of electrical work prior to, and then industrial and different things like that, working in factories and stuff like that. But I'm not a licensed electrician. What's up, David? He says, driving from my hometown, Laredo, Texas to Columbus, Ohio, delivering a load of glass for candles. Usually use Bluegrass Parkway, but a buddy said wasn't cleaned up yet, so I came I-70. Yeah, yeah. Of course, I mostly get on I-65 a lot of times, and everything's good on the interstate, getting off the interstate, except for like some of the turn lanes on the overpasses are still like just solid, like they haven't even touched it. But they were going around a lot today because the temperature got a little warmer, the sun was coming out, so I think it kind of broke that bond of the ice with the asphalt, and they were cleaning up a lot today. Like it'd probably be a big difference between today and tomorrow. Like whenever I go to town, I bet tomorrow will be a lot different. Safety Assassin said he's got the tool runner for a few weeks. Are you using the Velocity van bag? Yeah, it's in the. I've got it in my van. It's a little bit different. So like my back of my seat when I put it down, it's like flat, almost like level. With the. So I can take my coffee cups. I probably ain't got any out here. I was drinking water. Like with my back seat folded down, like I drink out of like coffee mugs with no lids, no nothing in the morning. My first cup of coffee that I drink is just in a mug because that's what I like drinking my coffee out of. And I could sit that, on there like when I'm getting in and out and doing whatever else, and it's not going to tip over because it's sitting flat. But that thing, because the seat, the actual where you put your butt in the seat, if I fold the back is like kind of pitched down, and that means that whole bag's pitched down. So I might see about sticking something under the backside of it and try that. But yeah, I've had it in there this week and been using it. That's the only thing so far that's been like different, and the height's a little different. So maybe if I stick something under it on the back towards the back of the seat and it lifts it up and kind of flattens it out, maybe that'll make it be a little bit taller too. It would probably be about the right height if I had it folded down like and then opened it and closed it open, but I don't want to do that either. So I need a new tool pouch. Been looking at the TP4, TPB4 or MX line, but what's all this about velocity? You don't want to buy, I don't even know if Velocity has pouches. I don't know if I'm not paying attention, but if you're going to wear it like a pouch, I wouldn't get any of the TPs with the base on it, like the hard base, like that. Hopefully I won't dump that. Like, I wouldn't get them with this. It's very uncomfortable in my opinion. I'd just get a TP4 or a TP3. I've got a TP3, but I don't think it's in here where I can get to it very easy. If you're gonna wear it like 90% of the time, like that's very nice for a small bag, like a little go bag or something like that. But I wouldn't want to wear that on my side. And in my opinion, you can't beat like the MP2X. Like I love it. That's what I wear every day almost. But if you want, it depends on what all you're gonna hold in it. Like if you need a lot of things that you want to carry, and then a TP3 and all that stuff. But you typically the TP3, unless you buy or a TP4, either one. Actually, I don't even know if the Mad Pack will fit on the TP4. I can't remember. I don't think it will. But like, you got to wear it with a belt. Like, you got to put a belt through the thing because the belt clip that's on the back of one of those, it's in a stupid spot. Like, it doesn't work right. So I used to always wear mine with I didn't put it on my belt that I wear all the time. I've got a climb belt that I put on it, and then I just put it on and off with it. That's how I used to wear it. But that's the nice thing about the MP pouches is they got the clip and all that, and it's all in the right spot. I'd go MP2X or MP1X. I actually really like the 2X though. I have a TP3B Redder Tippy. TPG said, yeah. Yeah, they're the TP3 and the TP4 is not as bad. The TP4B, I've got that. That's my house bag now. That's the one that I used to use all the time. That was my main bag I grabbed all the time whenever I worked for the facility that I worked for. So I use it in the house now. And I only keep that one out here. I think I got that one off eBay. Seems like I made a video for it when I got it off eBay. I got that off eBay for like $30 or something like that, the 3B. And I basically just put stuff in there so I can grab it out whenever I just use it as a spot to hold some tools, screwdrivers and stuff. Clint got the Cobalt set on Lowe's today. Yeah, the MP-MX, unless you're carrying a meter, like it's big. Like I'd almost rather have a TP3 or something like that than the MXs, because it's almost a little bit too big to wear it with the clip on your pants belt. It's going to be way too heavy. So you'd almost want to put it on another belt anyways. And if I'm going to put it on another belt, then the TP3s and 4s are pretty good. I got so much stuff all up in here that's just all over the place. I'll be so glad whenever I get that to where I can put stuff down there. I could probably go ahead and move some stuff down in that main area, but I haven't got to work on my garage much at all just because I've been cleaning up from the weather and all that. And then it's just such a pain to get stuff in and out with all that ice everywhere and everything else. I haven't even messed with it. Benjamin Ben, do you still use the SPMC? Yeah, that's the main bag I run right now. So I've got the SC45 just as now I'm putting it in that Velocity van bag that Steve gave me. That way it's kind of just there in my front seat if I'm walking in somewhere. But the SPMC's I mostly grab my SPMC and my MP2X 90% of the time, one of those two, and sometimes both. And then I usually keep this in my truck with all my like more diagnostic electrical stuff in there. And then that way, if I'm doing something like that, I just grab that bag. But it's pretty rare that I even get that bag out. You're going to put a drive down to the overhead? No. I'm going to keep my trailer in there, and more so just to keep it out of the weather. And I don't get it out but a few times a year if I'm doing bigger jobs and got to go get like 12-foot drywall sheets, or or I got to take a bunch of stuff, or I'm helping somebody move or do whatever. Like, I don't use it on a very consistent basis in my normal work life. And I'm only keeping it in there just to keep it out of the weather, and I can still put stuff in it while it's in there. Like, but I'll be able to just drive through the yard the few times I'm going to do it. It's not worth it to me to mess with putting a driveway in. What's up, Nasty HVACR? Price of the Klein TP3 light pouch or others is 10 to 20 bucks less than the Vito. At some point, Vito is well worth it. Yeah, there's multiple pouches that I've looked at, like at Lowe's and Home Depot, that I'm just like, there's no way I could wear one of these now. Like, I just couldn't. No way. They're just so stiff and hard and just don't work right. Intimidator's using the SC45 for his work pouch. Yeah, that's came in pretty handy. Like today, I had to go in and get some. I've still got to bid it, but place I work at a lot was wanting to change out all their bathroom light switches and stuff. She's wanting to basically make them, occupancy, so that because people keep leaving them on. And it's a commercial space, but I had to go in and just see if there was neutrals in the boxes, because it's a pretty old building. So it's not a guarantee that there's going to be one in there. And there wasn't in one of them. Two of them, I've got some white wires and some wire nuts, but they're also a little funky wiring. It looked like I just took the covers off and was shining my light back in the box. I wasn't going to like take stuff apart or anything, because I got to give her a price. I don't even know if she's going to do it, but but it's all in conduit, so I can get neutrals to the switch boxes. I just have to go and take a light fixture down, and run a white wire. But I had to go in there and do that, and then go in. There's like 3 stairwells in this building, and she was wanting to figure out that too. So I was going in there and taking covers off and checking things and seeing it. And I just grabbed that SC45 like out of that van deal, and just clipped it onto my belt loop, and I had my screwdriver, all that stuff. Do you know if Klein makes a mini mod box organizer, but longer to fit in the black elastic top pouch on the Tech MCT? I know what you're saying. The top pouch on the inside, which is the same as one of these, but this will be the same thing. You talk about this pouch right up in here, I guess. I guess you can see that. I don't think they make any of the small ones. Like they do have like this size, but I don't think they got anything that's thin. So you'd probably want something about like that-ish, but the skinnier. But I haven't seen any small boxes besides, you know, that size right there. I've gotten way more use out of the Fluke than I ever thought can be worn. Flux X. Or a good parts organizer, 7x2x1. I can't think of anything I've had that's skinny, you know, like that, like a 2 that's also long. Other than like but you're wanting a parts organizer. Yeah, I was gonna say that's probably about like a tool check, except for that's a little long or a little wide too, probably. Yeah, I don't know of anything. You probably just have to search for like just a plastic case of some kind, like a pill container type size thing or something. Yeah, Matt just said pill boxes. TPG said pill boxes. Zen cans are good for part storage. Yeah, that's what I've got. I think I got that in my SP. I don't think I moved it over to this. Yeah. I got a little Runts container. There's that knife. I've been looking for that knife. Put it in my electrical bag. I've got a little Runts container that's kind of like a Zen. But I can't think of anything that I would have that would be kind of like that. Now, every now and then, let me see if I got any of those. Let's see what size those are. Yeah, like big old box of wall plate covers. If you could find one that was like half of one of them, the wall plate cover screws. But every now and then I get Wagos off of Amazon, and I've got some before. Like this is a bigger pack of them, so you might, because then you can kind of get a double duty. At least get you some Wagos out of it. I'd look around on Amazon at the Wagos. Like this is an old one, but that's got the old style in it. But let's see what I got here. I've gotten that size a couple times, but they also they sell smaller packs of them that still come in a case. So you might look up, because then you're at least buying some Wagos at the same time of maybe getting whatever case you want. Because I can't remember what pack this was that it came with, but it's usually the Preppy Products or Prep Products or somebody. They come in cases like this. Plano makes some small, tough boxes. Harbor Freight has small containers like that now too. Small pack of car fuses sometimes. Yeah, that's what I'd look up, like things like car fuses, Wagos. You'll probably find something that's like comes in a case, that's something that you would use anyways. I was looking for this knife the other day. I've had this for a long time. I never did do a review or anything on it. But I was like, man, I know I got one of those, because I was doing big wire somewhere. I was doing something and I couldn't find it. It's been tucked up there in that in that little webbing. That's why I didn't know it was up there. I looked all in this bag too and didn't see it. Jeff's got that knife. Yeah, I saw there's 2 new Klein things. Tools with Tim sent me pictures on Instagram, and I think maybe Clint sent the picture. I saw a Klein's got a new magnetic light out that's kind of like the looks Icon, it like this kind of a light, like folds like this. It's not round like this, like the Icon, which Clint gave me this one too. But I saw that light, and then also I think they've got another knife that's coming out. Like Tough Built had one. I don't think I got that in here with the like nail puller on it. I saw one of that too. Cost of shipping is horrible these days. It's costing me $20 to send a Vito. Yeah, it's crazy. Like anytime I've given something away, it's at least $15. Like, and that's for something small. We use those Icon lights every day, worth every penny. Acme has the $39 Klein light. Tanner said he uses that light daily too. Yeah, I know a lot of people have got them. And then you can do something where you can, I haven't messed with that none, but I grab it and stick it on this box and stuff. The magnet on it's crazy good. I know you can do it to where you can flip this around or something like that. Still got 2 bars. Wago knockoffs at Harbor Freight have a nice little case. Connectors are pretty good for light duty. It's like fans and lights. The M18 topper light is amazing. Yeah, it's my most used light for sure. I've got something coming for it that's gonna make it even better too, I think. Ordered it last week. Tanner said I've watched the videos where you can flip it around, but it seems like too much work. It doesn't bother me the way it's set up already. Yeah, I think it's more so like I get why you would want to, like, because if you want to use this light, like, but I mean, for the most part, you can get it flipped all the way around there. But I think a lot of people, you'd want to be able to like maybe bring it towards you, I guess, sometimes for something. If you put it on something, you want the light going, you know, that way. You can't really get it that way without doing that. So I get why some people would want to do it, but I'm kind of in the same boat as you. 9 times out of 10, I can get that light wherever I want. And if it won't go, then I'll grab one of the other 15,000 lights I got. Dr. Morgan's desk looks worse than mine now. Yeah, I brought a bunch of stuff in here today and just threw it on the top, which I got a huge mess behind me where I'm taking stuff from there and moved it over here. I got rolls of insulation sitting over here, stuff that I need to be making videos for sitting over here, propane tank with a torch sitting over here, ladders that are normally in my truck sitting over here. I did get these from I don't know if I'll be I'm probably get these in the frame, I guess, if I move it. Let me see. I've got a buddy who gets stuff from Napa sometimes and he gets it like a bunch and not allowed to sell it or anything like that, but he can give it away. Oh, move these ladders. He gave me these things that I probably needed, like a hole in my head. I got a magnetic nut cup is what it's called. I like the name of it. I haven't had one of these before, like this kind of a magnetic bowl. Be better if it was red, but none of their stuff's ever red. Where you can stick it and have kind of that ledge. I got one of those. And then this thing, I'll probably have to move the camera down. It's a creeper that turns into a seat. So you got this action, but it also, I think you got to push a button in. Let's see. Yeah. Folds into a creeper. I guess you got to lift it up to make it come out. It's really stiff. I bet if I did something to it, it would probably, you got to like almost push on that. Let's see. There's got to be a trick to that. Right there's a little wonky. Yeah. That weld's broken right there. I'm glad but oh, I got to push that in is what it is. I'll have to fix that though. It had a little button there. You got to push. And then you got to press that button again. So creeper slash seat. Probably use it on my lawnmower when I change my blades. Mm-hmm. Someone makes a creeper you can change into a seat while you're on it. I've seen a guy I used to work with had a seat that had like a little metal toolbox, almost kind of like I mean, it's bigger than the little mini boxes, but a metal toolbox like the U.S. General one back there. And then so you could have stuff in the drawers, like while you were sitting, you could open up the drawer and get the stuff out. I don't know where he bought it at. Maybe he got it, I don't know, Harbor Freight or somewhere. Managed to break the fan wheel inside my Della mini split. Had to order the replacement. How hard is that to install? Blower wheel on. So you talking fan, outside fan, or are you talking about blower fan inside? Since you said fan wheel, I'm gonna assume blower fan inside. Do you recommend any bolt cutters? So I've got the Knipex Cobalt cutters. I've got a smaller pair, like I want to say maybe a 8. And then I also after I had those, I bought a 10-inch pair. And basically, if you can stick something in them, it's going to cut them. Like, so you just got to get the size for, it depends on what you're going to cut. Um, and if I don't have anything that's like huge bolt cutters, like, depends on what you're cutting bolts, what kind of bolts you're cutting. Blower wheel on a mini split inside section can be a giant PETA. Some of them are, in my experience, like when just from going to clean them, some of them, like, because some of them it's worth taking them apart because it's easy and you can get like that whole thing out and clean it. And then some of them it's just such a pain that it's like, no, I'm just sticking a bag up here. And I've got a video cleaning a mini split, and those aren't very easy to get out. So that's why I just take a bag and I sit there and twirl them and clean it. It's nice if you can just get that whole thing out and clean it, but some of them are easy and some of them's not. And I don't know if I've ever even, I'm trying to think if I've even ever messed with a Della before. I don't think I ever have. I mostly have only done Mitsubishi's, Daikin, Train, which I think Train and Mitsubishi ones are pretty much the same thing. But and then, this one here, but I haven't even looked at this one to see how it's kind of set up. But that's pretty much the only ones I think I've ever even messed with. Grinder with the cutoff wheels, my boat cutters. That's in all honesty, that's pretty much it for me too, for the most part. If it's not small, it's a grinder with a cutoff wheel. Yeah, I don't think I'd ever be doing a padlock or something with a pair of bolt cutters again. It's like I'm just gonna get out a grinder. Have you used the Milwaukee cutoff tool, like the little M12 one? I've got that. It's okay for certain things. It just depends on what you're doing with it. Like, you can't just like my M18 grinder, I can sit there and just press into something all I want to, and it will cut it and do whatever. The M12 one, you got to be a little bit, like, if it's thicker stuff for sure, like, it's really good for thin stuff. But like if you put on something a little thicker, you got to let it do it. Like, you can't just make it do it type of thing. It's one of those where you got to let the tool do the work and not push the tool type of thing. I've used it multiple times though with the tile cutting saw. Like, if I've only got a couple tiles, like I'm replacing because somebody broke some or something, and it's up against a wall, it's the cut one or something like that. I've scored it, like just kept going through it outside in the parking lot using it, and it works really good for that. I wouldn't want to cut like all my tile with it, but like if you're just doing a little bit, it's good. The drywall part of it, it's got like that dust vacuum and all that kind of stuff. I tried using it because I thought that'd be awesome. You know, you can set the depth of it. It comes with like a shoe you can put on it, almost like a circular saw. I thought, well, I'll cut through this drywall, set the depth, and it's kind of like having that little Makita drywall saw, but it doesn't do very good on that either, in my opinion. Like, as far as dust collection, like, it cuts it fine. It's just the dust collection is not all that great. Have you used the Milwaukee? Oh, that was that one. M12 cutoff tool is very weak, barely handles plastic panels, eats through blades if you're not gentle. Yeah, that's what I said. That's what Poppy said. If you push it to it, one, it's going to bog down and not do it most of the time on thicker stuff. I mostly just use mine. I've used it for cutting vinyl siding stuff sometimes, and that's got to be the right temperature. But that's the case with anything else, whether you're using a saw or whatever it is. I'm trying to think of what I've used it to cut some porcelain tile type stuff. I've used it to cut drywall, trying it, but mostly it's been small metal stuff, like thin metal. It's an okay tool, but it's not like a lot of people like whenever it was first out. Like that was one that whenever I made that top 7, bottom 3 M12 tools. I mean, a long time ago. It was back when I started the channel. Of course, I've got a bunch of different ones now, but that was one I didn't have that at the time, and that was like probably the main thing. If you go through the comments, everybody's like, "You got to get the M12 cutoff tool," and I finally hacked it, or I got a crazy good deal on it. I can't remember what I got it for. Uh, and like I said, I've used it some, but it's not like a life changing tool or something for me. Like it definitely wouldn't make it in my top list of M12 tools. It's one of those where I'm glad I got it because I use it for some small stuff every now and then. But what's up, Jester? It wouldn't hurt my feelings if I never cut another piece of tile in my lifetime, to be honest with you. I've got a rigid uh, tile saw back there that's like the table moves and stuff, which is my preferred thing. I prefer having the table that moves into the saw than moving the saw to the tile. But I wouldn't hurt my feelings if I never got it out again. I used mine to cut a straight line through plaster so I could demo below it. I liked it. A lot less dust than using a grinder, but haven't used it since. And I think no, I hooked mine up to my the thing I didn't like about the drywall thing, I think it was, is I couldn't see what I was like the way they've got it set up with that because like it comes with like a circular saw like base basically that you can snap around it. But whenever you do that, you can't really see what you're cutting. You just got to basically go by the little diamond at the front of your thing and hope you're good. And that's the main reason why I didn't like it with that on there. What's up, Jay Neves? Jay Neves, Loco Banana. Speaking of M12, what about the Rover light? It's big, like the new one's big. It's back there above my. I've only used it in here. I just use it. Now I have used it multiple times while I'm working, like in these spots where I don't have lights yet. I just grab that and stick it. I still prefer my M18 one, the little smaller one. That's the one I keep with me every day in my truck. But again, that one's pack out compatible. So if that's the thing that you want to put it on your stack and put the light off your stack wherever you want it, then that would be the way to go. It just depends on what somebody's need is. It's like I always say, every tool is like somebody's favorite tool, somebody's tool that they don't use very much. It just depends on, what it is that you end up doing with that tool or how your workflow is and stuff like that. So just because you see somebody say this tool is the best tool ever, that don't mean it's going to be the best tool ever for you. And it's the same thing if somebody tells you that it's crap, that doesn't mean it's going to be crap for you either. So I like it. I'd rather have the M18 for myself personally. Like if I was going to go buy one, they were the same price and I had M18 batteries. I just like the footprint of the M18 one a whole lot better. For me, that was different. The magnetic bit holder left the bit behind most of the time. Oh, on maybe that screwdriver that Matt's talking about. Have I heard of Spark Pedo by Blaze Tech? I haven't. What is Sparkpedo? Is it a torpedo level or is it a sounds like something bad? Sounds like a bad electrician who does all his work in playgrounds. No, I haven't heard of them. Blaze Tech. I don't even think I've heard of Blaze Tech. Mm-mm-mm. I did buy something that I saw in the last guest to trade. I did buy something that I saw in the last guest to trade. Thank you. I have more M12s currently than M18. Yeah, I keep the old M12. I keep the older M12 Rover light in my truck still. This one, I'm basically just using it at my house. But I also, like I said, I don't run a pack out stack. If I ran a pack out stack, I'd rather have that than probably like that big old box light that's pack out, uh, because it's smaller, and you could just snap it right into the top and fold that light wherever you wanted it. It would work out really good for that. It's just a little bit big. Torpedo level, not on the registry. I have that new M18 topper and it's worth it. The green thing from Guess the Trades. Yep. Yeah, I just bought something, Matt, for that light. We'll see whenever I get it if it makes it better or not. I use my I don't have Jackery, Blue Yeti, any of those kinds of things. I don't even have a generator. And so our power went out, and it was on Saturday, and the football games were going to start at 2 or whatever time it was. And so all I've really got is the M18 pack out. Now I could come out, I could start my truck and run some stuff or whatever off that if I really, really wanted to. But basically, I got battery powered tools, which Steve, just had a video about all that. That I've got plenty of stuff to charge phones and laptops and all that. But I basically hooked my M18 top off up to my TV, um, and then have the antenna and all that kind of stuff to where we can at least watch TV. So I think I took a radio in there. We listened to the radio for a while and then had the TV, which, like I said, we were only out of power ended up only being like 4 hours. So it wasn't bad. I would like to eventually get me like a Jackery, Blue Yeti, something like that. But I'd want one, if I could get one that was big enough to run a table saw, that way, like I could use it for work stuff. And then basically I'd have it for something like that happens to run the refrigerator or, something like that. I'm not too worried about the heat and air and all that kind of stuff. Sparkpedo is 178. Man, it must do some stuff. 178. Although I can't say anything. I got stability levels that are digital that cost me more than that, but for a table saw, you need a bigger E3600 LFP. I've had a few people contact me about those, like Jackery multiple times, Blue Yeti a couple times, and I always email them. I'm like, I need one. I said, I'd like to have one that will run a table saw. I said, and I'm not talking about running one all day. I'm just talking about I'll take it to a job and make a few cuts or do whatever. I said, and then I would also use it as a battery backup. But something always happens between that and them sending me one. Or if he needs a table saw, go cordless. Yeah, that's the one thing where I've not bit the bullet and bought battery, like a Milwaukee one or anything like that. And it's mainly because it's very, very rare that I can't get power to my table saw. There are some times where, like, it would be easier if I'm only going to make a couple cuts to, instead of running 200 feet of extension cords, just plug that, throw that thing in the back of my truck, make those few cuts right there at the truck and not have to pack my table saw either really far or run a bunch of extension cords. But that's why I haven't bought a battery one. It's very rare that that's a thing, and it's not worth it to me. I've been tired tonight for some reason. You're not in flex vote, but that goes on sale for under 300, and that's a full-on corded replacement. Track saw. Yeah, I'd probably almost rather buy the Milwaukee. My buddy's got it, the Milwaukee M18 track saw, before I bought a table saw. But most of the time, what I'm using a table saw for is, I don't use a table saw for bigger stuff anymore because I've got a track saw, like sheet goods and all that stuff. But it's always, I just need to shave, or I need to take this 3.5 inch board and change it to a 2 3/8 board or something like that. It's always just stuff like that, small stuff. I'm usually not, I can't even remember the last time I ripped plywood on a table saw, like full sheet. Now I've taken offcuts and made myself shelves or something out of them, and just to get it consistent, just keep running it through the table saw because that's the fastest. But I mean, I can't remember the last time I took a 4x8 sheet of plywood and ripped it on a table saw. Stop yawning. Yeah, I know it. I don't know. I've been tired all since I got home. I didn't get up any earlier today than normal. Drinking water, not coffee. That might actually be what it is. I hadn't drunk as much coffee today. I had a little bit of heartburn, which is not, I don't know what it's from. I drink coffee all the time and it ain't from that, but sometimes if I've got it and I drink more coffee, it makes it worse. So did you guys get a good amount of snow? We got more ice than snow, and we only ended up getting, like, I'm gonna say it was 3 inches total, is what I would say at my house. And then in town where I work, I honestly don't think they got any more than that. I mean, they might have got 1 more inch or something, maybe, if that. Eyes getting blurry from all this billing paperwork. I did that. I did a lot of that last weekend, or maybe on a. I had one day where, yeah, it was whenever this. It was whenever all this snow stuff was going on, and I couldn't really do anything, so I started doing a bunch of that. Use a foam panel underneath. Somebody said, "Yeah, I got blocks of foam panels right there that I take and shove in there." I'll give it. Y'all might get a sneak over here. I don't know how high it's gonna be. Yeah, so I got a bunch of foam panels up there. That's what I use. I gotta get a wreck around here, get this block out of the way. You'll love a 7 inch cordless miter saw. Yeah, for sure. If you don't, I use that all the time, way more than my 10 inch. But I'm glad I got my 10 inch one. But 7 1/4 ones, for one, it's like way cheaper saw blades for just regular cutting stuff where you're not doing like crate. Like, I cut 2x4s, all that stuff with it. Clint got 12 to 15. See, that's what we were supposed to get. I'm glad we didn't get it. Although, like I said, I'd rather had a lot more snow and a lot less ice, because the ice was, if I didn't have that skid steer, like, there wasn't no getting it off our driveway. Like, it wasn't budging. You'd have to sit there with something like a spud bar or a shovel and just sit there and break it into pieces and show it off, and it took forever. And I can get out in my truck, like, it wouldn't have mattered for me. I could have got out, but my driveway's got a kind of a hill right at the very end of it, and then it's like a main road, and there's a blind hill right there where that is, and people fly up that road, so you can't just like, I'm just gonna gun it, and whenever I get up to the top, I'm gonna pull out because you might end up getting T-boned. So you have to stop, and then if you're in a car, sometimes that's it as soon as you stop. Oh yeah, foam panel door. Yeah, I got foam right there too. I don't have a sliding 7 1/4. I got the 7 1/4, just regular. Yeah. I haven't. I used to have the Cobalt 7 1/4 slider, and it wasn't bad. This is back whenever there wasn't a lot of 7 1/4s out there. It was super loud though, and it was a corded Cobalt 7 1/4, and I mean it was loud. I think, a matter of fact, I think I've a long time ago, like very first started the channel, I've got a video cutting mini blinds or something like that, and I think I used it in it, and it is, which I probably deadened the sound whenever it was on there, but I mean it is super loud. Kept Amanda safely at home. That's the whole reason why I got out there and really cleared it off, was so that her and my son could get to work if they needed to. Because they went to town before I even went to town. Because like I said, the jobs that I had to do, I needed my ladders, and they were frozen on the top of my truck. So we're supposed to get some more stuff this weekend. So I'm not even gonna put my ladders back up on my truck. I'm just leaving them in here, and if I keep my little ones, like if I got to just reach up to like 8 foot or whatever, but inside my camper topper. But I'm not even going to put my big ones back on there unless I know I'm going for a job to do it. I have a sliding 7 1/4 Craftsman 20 volt, hardly touch the 12-inch DeWalt anymore. Yeah, I definitely wouldn't pack a 12-inch one around anymore. Uh, the 10-inch one's already pretty heavy as it is, the one I've got, but I definitely wouldn't pack. I used to have an old rigid 12-inch one. It was on a stand and all that kind of stuff, and it was just so heavy. So are you for sure going to the builder show? I think so. It's in Orlando. I texted Colin with Kraus and asked him if he was going, because that's where he's at. And he said, I honestly didn't even know about it. And so he might end up going. I don't know if he's going to go or not. I want live coverage. Maybe if the signal's good there. I don't have all that fancy Starlink stuff and all that kind of stuff. You just like him for his socks. Yeah, I'm gonna see if he can hook me up with some Camel City Mills. Yeah, this one says made in the USA on the screwdriver itself. Yeah, and I think the material that Klein said was sometimes it'd be like the material that the injection molding stuff that they make the handles out of. I think that's what he said. It was sometimes they'd have a hard time getting it from a US supplier occasionally because something would happen and they'd have to get it somewhere else. Jeff will. He's got 20 pairs for Christmas. Jeff's going to be in Orlando the 14th through the 18th. Yeah, I think that thing is the 17th through the 19th, something like that. Scraper video, I converted to Klein just because of the blades. Yeah, that's the one I keep in my truck too, just because of the blades. Actually, I think I still keep the tough bit one in there too because I like it, but and because I've got a bunch of blades because whenever I bought the tough belt and there wasn't any other ones at the time, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go ahead and buy a bunch of these blades for I can't find them anymore. So I probably got them in here actually. And yeah, yeah, I got a bunch of Menards had them on sale, so I bought a bunch of tough belt blades just for that. That's the only tough belt knife I've got, so it's just for those scrapers. Are they special blades? The tough belt ones are. The Klein ones should take just the Klein just takes any blade. The tough belt ones all have, and it's only for like you might have a tough belt knife that doesn't have to have these, but the scraper actually does. Like it's got this little extra hole right here in there. The Klein will just take any blade the way that it works. I also just like the tough belt handle. It's nice if you're putting a lot of oomph on it. That's why I like that one for. But just for like your normal scraping and stuff, it's just kind of bulky. Like the Klein one just feels like more like a knife, and especially like using it as a knife, not the scraper. The Klein is far better than tough belt. Like I hate the tough belt using it as a knife and not a scraper. I don't like it at all. Mm-mm, mm-mm. Got an extra. I didn't know I had two that Bowery boys. I've got two that Bowery boys. I didn't know I had two. Did y'all get the do y'all do the Klein Tradesman Club thing and get the stickers? These were the last ones I got. I don't know if there's been some since these or not. I should be getting some in the mail, I think, actually. See you, Jeff. I like the Kywheats better than Klein. Klein's conversion is a pain. You do have to have a like tool. Best small work light, John Kane 2383. My favorite one, it depends on what you're saying is small, but my favorite one is the M18 uh, Rover in that size. Unless you're talking about like flashlight type small. Mainly because of runtime. It's like that's what I told Miss Maintenance. I said if the power doesn't come back on, I said I could run that light with the amount of M18 batteries I got probably till next year. Sizzle Nick got those decals. It seems like I think I've filled out for. I miss it pretty often. Like I don't. I get so many emails. By the time I find some of these, like the email to say, "Hey, the new stickers are out," I miss them. But seems like I did get some after these though that maybe I haven't got yet. So maybe I got some coming. Mm, 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 mm. All I know is I'm super glad I got this mini split hooked up before this winter got here because this winter here has been cold compared to like what we normally have. Like it'd been miserable out here. I'm supposed to have a couple different flashlights coming to our mail just now. Like today's the first day we've got mail since last weekend. Like we just got mail today for the first time. And then our garbage people's not running because we live out in the middle of nowhere type thing. So all the back roads are pretty bad still. I need to check the electric bill and see if there's a big difference between last month and which it's going to be higher anyways, just because it's been running a lot more for heat in here and the house. So I'm curious to see how much this actually cost me to run this thing. Which, like I said, I don't keep it like what it is right now. Like whenever I leave here, I'll turn it down to 50, and just whenever I get home, if I know I'm gonna come out here and do something, I'll turn it up. I need suggestions for a small carry flashlight with carry clip, something durable that doesn't break. I'm right now running that Nightcore EDC09. I like it because it's got the flex head, but the Olight Arc Flex is what I was using a lot before that. I really like a flex head on mine because it lets you get the light anywhere you want it. So that's the main reason why those two are the two I use the most, is because they have a flex head. They may not be like the best of all those type of lights, but the flex head's what, pushes it over the edge for me. I'd rather have those than use something else. I don't have I've got the Arc Flex in here. The other one's out there in my truck. But like this size light, like I like my light to do this, that way if I use that magnet, I can get that light anywhere I want to. Because if it's just a straight light and your metal is over here, but you need your light over here, ain't a lot you can do with that. But if you got this flex light, you can turn it anywhere you want to. So that's a big deal for me, because that even lets you get it in more places. And even if you've got like a light like this one, that's, even though that's got it here and here, it's still not the same, because this light usually isn't near as bright as what this is. And then sometimes you still can't get it exactly. Like if I really need the light over here at this angle, this pretty much works at 90 degrees and straight, whereas this I can turn it a little ways. But the EDC09 Nightcore, that's the one I've got in my pouch right now, and it's got a lever switch on the sides. All it has, and all it is a flashlight. It doesn't have all that extra green laser lights and all that kind of stuff like that. I like it so far. But man, there's so many flashlights out there now in different price ranges. Like the Workos makes pretty good lights. They're a lot cheaper. Some of them are. Olights typically more expensive, but they're good lights. Wubin X4, Jeff Bowery said. A lot would have the arc feld on us. Yeah, it's the Olight, like the Arc Pros and Arc Felds. These are a little bit big though. If you're gonna wear them, like I wear mine on my hat a lot, like no matter what it is. Like I'll take this and slide it on here. But if you're not careful with one of these, like this one goes back far enough where I've had it happen. If you put it on like this, like I always make sure I put it on this way now, because if not, I put it on like this before and hit this on something and it like bangs you in the forehead. But these are a little bit big, in my opinion, to do that with. Like a little bit heavy. It's not that they're too big; they're just heavy. But that's another thing. Like I like the flex, and I like it to clip on my hat. Workos HD01 Pro. I can't remember which one's the 01. HD03 is today's EDC. Roy said he got the new Little Milwaukee rechargeable 4-inch hat clip USB-C, only 500 lumens for $70. Olights are better. My Olights are better. Regret this buy, not worth the price. Safety Assassin got his new Klein mini ratchet a little bit ago. I was trying to think of what other lights I had in here that would be. Yeah, now you can get like small clip lights like this kind of clip too. If I don't know if that's what those are. There's a bunch of those. If I was going to get one of those, I think this one's the best one for the price so far. Of the ones I've got, the Sofern ST10, because it has, like most of these don't have light on both ends, so that one's not a flex head, but you can still have that where you can get a light both directions off of the magnet back here. It's got a magnet here, but that's not very strong. But that one's a little bit stronger. But I like the clip on it too. It's a good clip. And this one takes a battery that you can swap out. So if that's the size light you're talking about, so far out of all the small ones I've got, this one's probably, in my opinion, the most bang for your buck. I mean, they're all good. Like I like the Olight O-Clip too and the Workos, but this one's pretty good. I'm supposed to have a pin light. I can't remember what the brand name is. It's supposed to be getting a pin light coming, and it's got a pretty unique feature on it that I'm interested to see. It's a brand I don't remember what the brand is. It's not like a, Streamlight or anything like that. I can't remember. I know Streamlight, is it Streamlight that's got the new little small wedge light that's pretty expensive though? Like a pencil type light. It's not that, but I can't remember what the brand name is. I laugh every time I watch the Milwaukee Million Lumen flashlight short. I need it. It's 1,000,000 lumens. Jeff's still trying to find an X1 Pro. Yeah, the X4. He said that a second ago. I've got that one in the house. That's the one I keep in my little cubby in the house as a quick grab to go outside to do something. Yeah, I didn't get an X1 Pro. I was supposed to get an X1 Pro, but it got porch pirated, so I didn't end up getting one of those. Or I said porch pirated. Probably just got lost in the mail pirated or something. It showed delivered, but it was never delivered. But that happens sometimes, and it wasn't that somebody stole it off of the porch or from the office or anything. It just never did really get delivered, or it got delivered somewhere else. Nebo 2K. Yeah, that Nebo, the Nebo lights are pretty cheap, too. They're very cost friendly, and this one's not bad. It's got a light on. It's got a magnet there, but it's got that light, but it doesn't really have the light in the front as much though to use as a flashlight. But this one's got both of them. The Nebo Larry 500. I want to say, was it Terry Burton? I think you gave me one of these, if not both of them. I'm not real sure. If you might have gave me both of them. I know you gave me one of them for sure, but I think you might have gave me both of them. This one I normally keep in my vest, but I took it out for now because I needed I've always got other flashlights, and I needed an extra slot that I kept that in for screwdriver I was using. I never did swap it back. Not like we don't have 10 billion flashlights already. I know I've gave away a bunch of them. Like I give away some almost all. Every time I was doing giveaways, I was giving away flashlights. Got Joey's same Nebo flat pocket light and broke the magnet off. Great light for the money. Yeah, I took that out of my. I kept that one in my Atlas vest pocket, my service vest. But I don't remember what job it was. I was doing something. I needed an extra spot up there for some tool that I was using. I don't remember what it was. I never have swapped it back. You're welcome, John. Leave this out here. The Nebos are very inexpensive compared to some of the other ones, and they're pretty good lights. They're really for the price. They're one of those for the price lights. Found an Nebo 500 lumen slide that got run over on the road for free. It works great. Do they still make the mini mag light? I almost lost mine yesterday. I haven't bought any kind of mag light in a long, long time. I remember they used to have, the Barney Fife mag lights or whatever, but I don't know if the Vera short is recent. I just watched handle size about number 1 Phillips, but very interesting. Get a $139 Wuben G5 titanium. They're adding a $20 free case. The Olight baton I won on here a while back is my favorite EDC light yet. Yeah, a lot of people really like those. Are good ones to me for clip lights on your hat. Like it's a whole lot. that's a whole lot more comfortable to clip one of those that size on your hat than like that arc felds and all that kind of stuff. Those batons, those that size right there, that's pretty good. Who you got for the Super Bowl? My wife got Bad Bunny. I think I don't really care who wins. Like I don't have a preference one way or the other. Like there's neither one of them are like, oh, I'll be. It's not. I don't know that I don't have a preference, but it's the more I don't really care who wins or I don't care who. Like there's not neither one of the two teams that I'm like, oh, I hope they lose, and there's neither one of the two teams that I'm like, oh, I hope they win. I think the Seahawks are probably the better team, like all the way around. But it just depends. You never know. I mean, both of them got good defenses, so it's really going to come down to probably whichever quarterback doesn't make the most mistakes. Because the Patriots defense is pretty good too. Like the Seahawks defense is really good, but the Patriots is pretty good too. You think any tool company will have a commercial? I doubt it. I don't know if I've ever even seen a tool company have a commercial during a Super Bowl. It's usually only the big daddy companies that do Super Bowl commercials, like you know Doritos and Coke and Pepsi and all that kind of stuff. Been cleaning tools. I see cleaner everywhere. Yeah, I need to. That's another thing is like this whole entire section of the building needs a deep clean. I've had a lot of from where I've had those doors open and while I was building the garage and then just stuff coming up and so once I start moving stuff out of here, I'll be able to like clean everything as I move it and then go through and clean stuff in here like that this chair is this stool is filthy on the bottom. I want to see the Titans in a Super Bowl before I leave this world. Yeah, they were there one time. Came a little bit away from it. They like I that was my team for a long time, and I got tired of following them just because they just do dumb stuff. Like I've always felt like they didn't care if they won a Super Bowl; they just wanted to fill the seats and make money, type thing. Because they'd have good players play through their rookie contract, and they just get rid of them because they don't want to pay anybody. But they're fixing to build a big. They got that big stadium going now. You might see the Titan Stadium in a Super Bowl before you see the Titans in a Super Bowl. There's tons of ads for Makita on streaming and radio more than Harbor Freight. I'd like to see the Titans win a Super Bowl. That would be pretty nice. Yeah, I used to like we go watch games. Like we'd usually go to at least a couple games in Tennessee, and then we'd go watch them play the Bengals up in Cincinnati. I've gotten to where though, like unless I've got really good seats, I'd just soon watch it on TV. I need to block off an area of a public stairwell. Homeless people keep peeing and pooping in this space. I'm thinking of steel framing and installing Durarock instead of drywall. Your thoughts? Yeah, you just got to make it in that situation. Most of the time, you just have to make it difficult, like more difficult than what it's worth, to where they'll just go somewhere else that's easier. Um, in all those any situation like that. But if you don't do something that's durable and it's easy for them to get in, then they're gonna break it. Install electric and let them pee on that. Yeah, because no matter what, you'll get some that are going to do some crazy stuff. It's just like chain link fence. I've had them cut the chain link fence all the way down to get in before, and like literally 30 feet down from that is no chain link fence. They could have just walked 30 feet and walked right around it, because all that fence was there was as a wind barrier to catch like debris and stuff. It wasn't really to keep people out type of thing. But it's like instead of walking 30 feet, they sit there and took something and cut all the way down the whole thing. It's like there's certain ones that will do whatever no matter what you put on it. But for the most part, if you just make it a little bit difficult, they'll go somewhere else where it's not that difficult. But I guess I'm gonna get off here. I've been yawning enough. I gotta go in there and go to bed or something. But I'm not working tomorrow, so doesn't hurt my feelings that if I sleep late tomorrow, I might sleep later tomorrow. I probably won't. I wake up same time every day. But I guess I'm gonna get off here. We've been watching The Runaway or something like that. Me and Miss Maintenance have some kind of Harlan Coben or Harlan, whatever the guy's name is. It's got some things. I think we got a couple episodes of that left to watch. But I'll get off here. Appreciate y'all being on here. Always a good time. Seemed like we just had a live, but I forgot I did do a live like on Sunday because I was like, seems like we just did one. Like, don't have a lot to talk about between because it hadn't even been a whole week or whatever. But we'll see y'all on the Guest of Trades on Saturday. There is a Tough Built tote and a Milwaukee bag that's like this kind of Milwaukee bag that I keep my stuff in there. So we'll see y'all on the next one.